Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your Should I Stay or Should I Go reading for October. Everything you need to know is in the description box below. I don't do the other way shuffling, so. Oops. All right. Okay, so on this side we have ruminate, which is a fancy word for think over everything, but not actively think. It's, well, in my mind, it's like just think on something and then let the ideas flow. Again with the Guardian. This came up earlier, Guardian. All right, now these have been shuffled off camera. 2 more. Six of Wands reverse. So, are we having doubts? Are we lacking self-confidence? Are we not willing to look at our culpability in a situation? Are we reeling from somebody doing something that they would not be proud of if their friends and family knew about it? Well, okay, we have the Page of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, the Hanged Man reversed, 8 of Wands, 8 of Cups reversed. All right, so, yeah, well, what needs to change in the relationship is there needs to be more, well, there needs to be talks of working together, basically. There needs to be, feels like it's one-sided, Sag. It feels like there needs to be a conversation of how are we going to make, the talks of security, how are we going to make each other feel secure? How are we going to move this forward? How are we going to make this work, basically? This feels like there's been a breakup and now you're back together talking about this, though, okay? And that's why you're at the crossroads. It's not like you're thinking of leaving. There's been some kind of break, and the Sagittarius I'm reading for, and you're coming back together to talk. And it's giving you a lot of food for thought. And how to act, though, is to trust your logic and intuition, not your emotions, because those can sometimes be faulty, or if we react first and think later, that's not very helpful. Okay. All right. So this is transitioning out of something, or this is relationship in transition. This is also parting ways, moving on, leaving, and this is talks of security. So what is that about? Okay. So what needs to change is that somebody is shut down. Somebody is not contributing to the relationship, and it's toxic. There's a toxic attachment. It's unhealthy. There's a lot of, this is somebody, maybe a female, because this could be Taurus or Aries. This is somebody that's very controlling. This is somebody that, if they're abundant, they're the only person that's abundant. Somebody that's, it's almost like the female bully card. This is somebody that's not about the divine feminine, it's about the divine sexual, it's about the divine, and I'm being sarcastic when I say that. This is do as I say, not as I do. I don't have to be faithful, you do. I don't have to contribute, you do, that sort of thing. And there needs to be, part of this is immaturity. Okay, when you see a page, it's kind of immature. So somebody's kind of acting really immature, and they need to change that. And because this whole one-sided BS right here, that's why the suggestion is transition out of this. Maybe not break up, but you need a break so that you can go away and think. Okay, Sag? Because you need to go away and consider some things. You're not happy. You don't feel like you're on the same page with this person. They're not working with you. They're very selfish. This person, whoever this person is, they're selfish. This could be Capricorn. What's this Six of Swords here? Oy, oy, oy. Okay. Oh my goodness, all these heavies. Oy. All right, so this is about transitioning out of something, about leaving behind, moving on, regretful but necessary. It's the steps to take from one stage to the next. And right now, there's not a whole heck of a lot of balance or perspective. And if you are going to say or do anything, it's not going to be with compassion in mind, okay? You're not in a place where you should be communicating with this person. Even though it's talking about having these talks, this is, if the relationship is going to work, if you are going to stay, a talk needs to be about this one growing the HE double hockey sticks up, okay? And so the action right now to take is to leave and to reestablish balance and order so that you can get clarity. This is about confusion and anxiety and not knowing what to do. This is about still being flustered, but having the clarity. The confusion's gone, but now you might be angry. The confusion's gone, but now you might be like, oh gosh, I don't want to deal with this. This is about, you can't not know what you know. Meaning, oh crud, I just realized it. Now I can't ignore it. You can't lie to yourself, basically. You know that you know that you know. And this is, I don't think this is a person. I think this is an energy. This could be Sag or Gemini, but I think this is an energy. This could be Pisces or Cancer. I think this is energy, though. I think this especially is about not having any kind of perspective. You are so overrun right now with this energy, with this situation, that you are just not seeing things clearly. It's got you really spun out of control, really stressed out, and you need some perspective. And I think, honestly, I think you love this person. Aside from this unhealthy attachment and there being a jerk, I think there's a love there. And I think that's why you're so frustrated and angry. And there's a call to come back and talk with compassion, to go away to think and to come back and talk with compassion and fairness and moderation and perspective in mind. And you don't have that right now. So that's what needs to happen is you need, if you're going to stay, you need to go. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're going to stay and work this out, first you need to go because you need perspective and you need to get some clarity. Okay? If you go, the purpose of the relationship, and my cat's yodeling in the background, awesome. If you go, what was the purpose of the relationship? Was it passion? Was it things happening very quickly and that love, that falling in love? Let's look at that. Hang on here. This is divine protection and being watched over in the ethereal and in the spiritual. So if you do decide to go solo, you will be safeguarded. But this usually I'm finding is coupled with going through the dark night of the soul, going through that introspection that's not always fun, you know? Right now you're so stressed out, it's probably like you can't tap your intuition. You can't really feel anything other than just stress and confusion. But this, a lot I'm finding lately at least, is coupled with you're being guarded and watched over because you are down. You're going through it emotionally. You're being watched over because there's been a fallout. All right, so let's look at this Eight of Wands. That's quick communication, it could be travel. It could be talking about the passion that you had in the relationship. This is also transition. This right here card for me too, in this instance, means transitioning from one stage or area to the next, whether it's more metaphorical stage, speaking of your relationship emotionally, to where it is now, being connected and now you're not. It could be transitioning to flying solo, so to speak. All right, hang on here. Well, you fell for a charmer. This could be Leo, Sag, or Aries, but I'm thinking I'm thinking because of the Empress, I'm thinking this is about, I'm reading for male Sagittarians because I'm thinking this is a female. I think it could be reverse. It could be there's the male. Usually the males are the a-hole narcissist, right? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying typically that's, the energy reads, and I think it's because it's a very aggressive energy. This, though, we could be dealing with a female here. It could be the tables are turned. Not that that's not uncommon. I tend to be sexist, I know, and sometimes I forget that I'm reading for men. So this is a nice reminder that, you know, women can be a-holes too, okay? But I think we might be dealing with a woman, and probably this is saying take a look at falling in love and the process you go through, as far as you find who you love. Sag is somebody who's very charming, very charismatic, can do Cameron, that sort of thing, and you tend to fall quickly, hard and fast, and it's a bit reckless. It's not the new beginnings that you're hoping for when you do fall. It can be quite, it can end up to this, to where it wasn't well thought out, it wasn't moderately approached, it wasn't approached with moderation and thoughtfulness and just process, because that's boring, right? I get it. When we're passionate, we want it now, and we want it often, and we want it all the time. But when things go overlooked or unexamined, this is what happens. So it's saying this, again, with the pattern, there's another reading I did where it's like, this might be a pattern for you, that the falling in love quickly thing. So just consider that, okay? All right. How to let go is to, this speaks of just detaching. No rhyme or reason, no process, no plan, just detaching. One more. Again, with the Six of Wands here, these are the same thing, different deck, same card. Okay, so if you're going to leave, how you do it is you're going to do the fade, right? You're just going to detach, no rhyme or reason, you're just going to get gone. And I think it's going to be this speaks to it being a solo gesture. This is with friends, help with friends. This is on your own. And this is somebody by themselves working and taking care of their own. So no conversation, no talking, no anything. You're just going to leave. Everybody's none the wiser. I think that, you know, sometimes it speaks of egotism. It speaks of fall from grace, doing something that you aren't proud of. In this instance, I think you just need to up and leave. You just you need to, however, the fact that I'm not being shown how or why, that means it's different for everybody, obviously. But you are going to end up here. So, hold on a minute. I want to know what that Six of Wands reverse means, because that doesn't mean much other than solo to me. What does that mean, Six of Wands reversed? More. Ended. Cycle's complete. Okay, it's new beginning. So this is leaving the emotional situation, also leaving a situation where you were once intertwined and working together by yourself, solo, because the cycle has ended and it's time to start fresh on your own. Okay, which still doesn't tell you a whole lot. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? If you're going to leave, that's one of the ways, very obviously, how to do it. But I think, now hear me out, I think the reason why it's nebulous, it's not very clear, it's just kind of like, yeah, just, you know, go off and start on your own. Just do the fade just by yourself. This doesn't speak to an urgency. Nobody's getting abused here. It's just very confusing, and it's. I get the sense that there's a lot of passion. Just saying that there's a lot of passion. And well, again, over here we had that this might be a pattern that you fall for somebody quickly and then you end up entangled, and it's not very pleasant. And so it's not that there's abuse. Somebody's just not being fair. They're just being a jerk, okay? So with this being kind of like vague, like, yeah, just the cycle's ended, you know, you need to go solo for a while. Just really need to be solo, start your own thing. I think it's because this is unfinished. Yeah, there's going to be divine protection and order, but this is about letting go. Completely letting go, stepping back, and doing it with love and compassion and blessing, and just, this is about delay. That you can't let go, that you're in limbo, really. I mean, both of them kind of are, but this is willing to walk away and sacrifice. This is not. So you're not finished yet. So whether you stay or go, at some point, I guess it could look like, oh, well, it doesn't matter then, right? No, it does. It's about perspective. If you stay, you at least know what needs to be changed, and you know how spun you are right now. You need to leave, because this is a pattern. You fall quickly. If we're honest, it's a bit reckless. We need to think things through more, right? And right now you need to get away so you can have perspective, and that's where this intuition, that's where the spirit world or the spiritual realm takes over, and you get the clarity. So that if you do want to come back, you can. And when I say this is over, this, whatever you're dealing with, you can't not know what you know now, okay? So that once you recognize that this is a pattern and whatever role that person played, that's what is over. There's going to be a new awareness and a new beginning after that. So you can't not know what you know. Now that you know that, now it becomes a choice. We either need to relate differently, or we can't be together. So, should you stay or should you go? I don't know. I think what you should do, what this is saying to do, is that you need distance to break away and to think. You need time away to be able to think, because you need to recognize your own culpability in this also. Just that, like, well, I'm not the best at self-preservation sometimes when it comes to love. You know what I mean? So, no judgment or shade. Just saying, whatever's going to happen, it needs to be about you going away and thinking first. Because to me, this isn't saying either way. This is just about delay. It's not over yet. It's not. Even if you leave, it's not over. You know, this was supposed to be a 10-minute reading. I mean, honestly, across the board, they're clocking in at around 15 to 18. So I don't think I think my timing is off. my sense of time is off here. The things we do and the masks we wear. This is about, once again, self-awareness. And this is what I'm talking about here. Know your pattern. Understand how and why you fell in love and what the pattern is. And this speaks to that. There's a lot of masks on the table here. A lot of different sized dolls, the nesting dolls. And this is about how the role that we play in a relationship or even in life, sometimes it stops becoming a choice and more of a habit just to either survive or just because we're so used to that role. And we need to still recognize that no matter how entangled and meshed we get with somebody, we still need choice. We still need to be able to pick and choose who we want to be when. And it needs to be an authentic choice, not out of survival, not out of trying to make a relationship work. And this is about knowing yourself, self-analysis to figure out what your motivation is and know when you're picking that mask up and why, and if it's a choice or not. So basically, self-examination, knowing yourself. Self-analysis. So if you go, it's going to be for that purpose. I don't think it's going to be for a breakup. But I think you're going to come back and go, okay, because right now you're transitioning out. The advice is to take a break, get out of there, leave. You need to go through you need to see some stuff, but I don't think it's over. So if you go, it's for a break, not a breakup. Just my 2 cents on that. I mean, you could do whatever you want, but it feels like it's not over. Okay, Sag, that is what I have for you. I hope it was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next reading. Thanks so much for stopping by. Take care.